I know. So many of my little opening dialogues here say, we got a lot to talk about tonight, but I dare you to look at tonight's episode and say we don't have a lot to talk about tonight. So, let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your July 13th, 2021 NXT review. How are you guys doing? We're going to get into the house cleaning in a second. How are you guys doing? Where are you in the world? Where are you with all the COVID bullshit? Because I'll tell you something. It's starting to take a turn for me. Just about a week ago, I was actually able to go get a haircut. Those of you listening in audio don't care that I just lifted up my hat. Get to go to the movies this weekend and watch the movies where we're supposed to actually watch the movies, which is good. And by the end of this week, I will be getting news on when I can get my ass out to the next Destiny show. And oh yes, I'm going to drill the check it off your Spaz Phoenix bucket list into the ground when I get that. I mean, the show's not going to be till like the end of August, but we're getting news. Things are happening, and that does tie in to the house cleaning, so I'm going to get into the house cleaning now. Please go check out the past 3 or 4 things I've done on this channel, because they have been a little left of the norm of what you would find on this channel. 3 videos ago, you're going to see a commentary that I did up here talking about how everything's coming back, and that ties into the Destiny thing. Impact having fans again, Raw, SmackDown, Money in the Bank having fans again, AEW having fans again, Slammiversary is this weekend, Money in the Bank is this weekend. Those shows are going to have fans this coming Friday after I get back from the movies. Like a really, really fun, happy guy, I'm going to sit down and watch SmackDown with fans, and hopefully they don't steal any more of our NXT talent. I did something that I don't usually do. I sort of decided a while ago that the elevated episodes of NXT, like Halloween Havoc, like Great American Bash, shows of that nature that are the weekly shows, but just given a theme, I'm not really going to do a review for, because I want to just sit back and watch them. I want to treat them like mini pay-per-views. But seeing as how Jake and I didn't get to do a preview for the Great American Bash, we did do a review of the Great American Bash, and that was a lot of fun. Go back 2 videos, check that out. We talked about a lot of other things, as we usually do. Shout out to Jake DeMarco. Go show him some love at Countdown Ended. And then, to counter the positive commentary that I did a week ago, I did a negative commentary just this past weekend after SmackDown and after what happened with Shotzi and Tegan Nox and Toni Storm and what we know is coming sooner rather than later. And so I had a positive commentary, then me and Jake did some fun stuff, then I did a rant. It's a nice big spectrum of spaz motions. That's the lamest thing I'm going to say on this channel tonight. Maybe, perhaps. What's coming up, though? Hopefully, all things being equal, and if all things go to plan as they usually do, Jake and I are actually going to sit down and talk about Money in the Bank. We are actually going to twist our gears towards WWE. Money in the Bank is a pay-per-view worth talking about, and it's going to have crowds, which is going to be a lot of fun, even though some of the matches are questionable, and unfortunately Naomi's on pay-per-view. We have to sort of deal with that. If I get a chance, I'm going to, because I don't watch Impact every week and I have to catch up on a few things, I'm going to try and get myself caught up and put some sort of preview together for Slammiversary, because, like I say, I don't watch the weekly show, but the pay-per-view, the card for the pay-per-view, I know off the top of the head we got Callahan versus Omega, we got an Ultimate X match, which is always a winner, we've got Moose versus Sabin, we've got the artist formerly known as Big Cass taking on somebody. Is he taking on Eddie Edwards or something like that? I think. I'm sure the women are doing stuff, and that makes me sound like an asshole, but it is what it is. As far as the... Where am I? Lost my place in my own shitty writing. As far as the FlixFix series, Kristen and I have obviously done what we normally do with these shows these days. We give you a review of the first couple of episodes, and then time gets in the way, life gets in the way, etc. Tomorrow night, or actually tonight as you're listening to this, is the last episode of Loki. We will not be doing a review for the final episode and final thoughts and whatever this weekend, because my weekend is stacked. I'm going to the movies. I'm enjoying 2 pay-per-views. I'm getting my second stab on Monday for anybody that cares. But yeah, this weekend is a write-off for me, and I might actually be able to get out and socialize, which is something that's happening very slowly where I live. So we will be getting you guys a finale and some overall thoughts for Loki, but it will not be this week. It will probably not be until the end of next weekend. So it is coming, just not as quickly as I would have planned out my life if I had any say in when things happen. That being said, go check out the stuff I've talked about. Please stay tuned for the stuff that I'm planning on doing. As far as all the COVID and how the world is and whatever the case may be, I hope wherever you are, they're either opening up or already open, or you're able to enjoy some sort of life as we knew it in the before time in the long, long ago. But let's get into this week's show. We start off this week's show on a bit of a downer note. They put up the in memoriam graphic for the late, great Paul Orndorff. I'm not going to say much about Paul Orndorff, or Mr. Wonderful as some people know him, because he's not a wrestler that I know a lot about. Your best bet, and I will say this for a lot of the older wrestlers, your best bet is to go check out Good Mic Work, because I'm sure he will have something. I'm sure he will have something either on Paul Orndorff, or I'm sure he'll touch on it in the next Winged Eagle podcast, and he's way, way, way more of a historian than I am, so anything that can be said would probably be said much better by him than by me. But obviously, Paul Orndorff, he's part of our wrestling universe, if you want to put it that way. Obviously, thoughts out to his friends and fans and family and all that sort of thing. Never a good thing to hear. And then we started off the show properly with a recap of all of the Great American Bash, and if you want to know what I thought about the Great American Bash, go back and listen to me and Jake talk about it. It was good, and we set up some stuff for tonight, and the men's tag team title match that started off the night was fucking fantastic, and the return of Tegan Nox, even though that got taken away from us on SmackDown, and yeah. And then we hype up Gargano versus Cross for the NXT Championship, which is the main event tonight. But we start off with an absolute banger. Ember Moon, who no longer has a tag team partner, taking on Dakota Kai, who's got Raquel Gonzalez in her corner. Now, they started it off as Ember Moon was coming down to the ring. I love the gear that she does with like the big lit up skulls and shit like that. Now, I know it's a complete 180 from the old Ember Moon gimmick, which was sort of like Demon Finn Balor adjacent, and it's gone for more of this grungy alternative type of thing, but I think it's really cool, and I think she does a lot of it herself. Somebody correct me down in the box below if I'm wrong. As she was coming out to the ring, obviously they flashed the graphic at the bottom of the screen. It was her having a heartfelt goodbye to her former tag team partner Shotzi Blackheart, which stabbed me right in the soul. Anyways, so Ember Moon getting back in the singles context, though, and taking on the friend of the women's champion, I thought was going to put her back in the women's singles championship title picture, but that is not what happened, and we'll get to that when we get to it. But the match itself, Ember Moon, Dakota Kai, you're not going to have a bad match with this, are you? Collar elbow tie up and a drag into an armbar by Moon, a hammerlock, a headlock by Moon, and a reverse by Kai into a shoulder tackle, rolling armbars by Moon, and a grounded armbar. Hair takedown by Kai, a modified haluva kick, a bicycle kick by Kai, a super kick, a boot, a straight jacket into a choke. Kai bails, and Ember Moon hits this absolutely ridiculous suicide dive on her. And we're going to talk about a suicide dive that happens later on in the show. But this one, and I know it's partially because they've got the plexi there and it hits up against the fence and whatever, and that changes things. But the smack of Dakota Kai hitting the guardrail off of this suicide dive was insane. Ember Moon sort of does this modified 619, except she doesn't do it between the ropes. She sort of slides around the apron and then a single leg drop kick off the same apron as we go to the commercial break. Now, for those of you that tell me all the time, you keep missing stuff. There is stuff that happens during the commercial break. They do the picture-in-picture. Yeah, I'm sure they do the picture-in-picture on the USA Network. I used to watch the illegal streams of the USA Network when Sportsnet was fucking us over. Sportsnet has gotten their shit together, but they don't do picture-in-picture. So there is stuff that I miss from time to time. You're going to have to cut me a break on that. Coming back from the commercial break, there's a series of kicks by Kai, a right-handed gut shot, a suplex, a series of strikes by Moon, a neck breaker, and a butterfly suplex. Sort of anything you can do, I can do better, stretched over a long, long period of time. Second rope, Second rope springboard crossbody splash by Moon. A scorpion kick by Kai, a haluva kick, and a twisting DDT thing by Kai. It was a DDT, but it wasn't a DDT because she just jumped up and threw Ember Moon's face into the floor, is the more accurate way to say that. Both women trade some strikes. There's a top rope Rana by Moon, a rope-assisted GTK by Dakota Kai, and Dakota Kai gets the win. Now, a couple things here. I like that there was no Gonzalez interference. That was cool. Unless there was some during the commercial break that I didn't see because I don't get it up here in Canada. It's fine. But there was no interference, so Kai got a clean win. Makes her look good. I would have liked brand newly single superstar again, Ember Moon, to go back on her singles journey with a win, but it is what it is. The lights go out. Xia Li comes down to the ring, stares down Dakota Kai, stares through Dakota Kai to Raquel Gonzalez, looks up at her because she's one of the smallest people on the roster, and Raquel Gonzalez is Raquel Gonzalez, throws out a challenge that's quickly accepted, and later on in the evening we find out that that's actually happening next week. Do I think that the pupil of the 1,000-year-old Dragon Lady is going to be the new NXT champion? No, I don't. But at the same time, do I think that's going to be a hell of a match? Yes. Yes, I do. Diamond Mine are in the back, and it's actually shot from earlier today because I saw it on social media earlier today. They're talking about what the Diamond Mine is all about. It's about the now. It's about having a good trainer, and they point to the Japanese fella whose name I'm still not entirely sure of, and then they say that it's about the future, pointing to Tyler Rust. Diamond Mine is here. Diamond Mine is here to compete, and we're here obviously to offer an open challenge. And stepping into frame, where the hell has he been? Put a Where's Waldo shirt over him. It's Bobby Fish. Somebody was literally playing cards. Somebody literally said, "Go Fish," and then I think Triple H and Regal said, "Wait a minute, don't we have a guy named Fish? Yeah, let's call him up and see what he's up to." He steps up to the Diamond Mine, looking really, really pissed off at Roderick Strong. Now, I don't know why he's really, really pissed off at Roderick Strong. The breakup of the Undisputed Era kind of happened while he wasn't there. The breakup of the Undisputed Era was between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, and I think Roderick Strong just sort of walked away from the whole thing. So I would think if there's going to be anything based on that tangential relationship, he would have gone after one of them, chosen a side, as it were. But he goes after Roderick Strong again. He's, yeah. And then Bivens in the back says, yeah. You can have a match tonight against Tyler Rust. And that's how they swerve that. I mean, obviously, Bobby Fish versus Roderick Strong at some point would be really, really good. And I'm going to keep saying this because I don't think it's worth my breath to talk about. We did some stupid Butler stuff. Then we get Bobby Fish versus Tyler Rust. And it was quick and effective, and I'm really, really, really sold on Tyler Rust. Not to say that seeing Bobby Fish back after a long absence wasn't great, but I'm really sold on Tyler Rust, especially as part of this group. And the I don't want to say confidence, because he was confident before too, but like the confidence / arrogance of having a little bit of backup is really working for it. There's a back suplex by Russ, chops, an arm drag, and an arm lock. Strikes and chops by Russ, and they get returned by Fish. Rolling figure 4 headlock by Russ. Now, I really like this because he put him in the figure 4 headlock, and he basically turned that into a gator roll, which would really fuck up your neck. Right hands by Fish, boot by Russ, and a back body drop suplex by Fish. Strong distracts on the outside. There's a chop block by Rust, and then he hits him with a swift kick to the side of the head that, I'm not going to lie, I blinked and missed, and Rust got the win. Now, the other gentleman got up on the apron. There's about to be a 3-on-1, and they're fended off by Kushida. Obviously, Kushida received the beatdown that was Diamond Mine's debut. Later on in the night, it's announced that we're going to have a tag team match next week. It's going to be Tyler Rust and Roderick Strong versus Kushida and Bobby Fish. Now, ultimately, this program is going to morph into Roderick Strong going for the Cruiserweight Championship, and that is going to be a lot of fun. Now, Kyle O'Reilly being the other person in that Kushida match when Diamond Mine came out, I wonder if he's going to get thrown into the fray as well. We're going to see this other Japanese fella and what he can do in the ring, because I'm sorry, maybe I'm ignorant, I'm not familiar with who he is, so I don't know what he does in the ring. So if they're going to have AEW fans, I'll say it for you, if they're going to have a trios match, that would be fine as well. Samoa Joe is walking around in his referee gear because he's refereeing the title match later on tonight. He goes to have some pre-match remarks with Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross is basically ignoring him, beating the shit out of his heavy bag, and they have a big, deep, intense stare down because that's what they do. Now, come to something that I was looking really forward to when it was announced on social media earlier today. One of the other things that we're getting robbed of because of the call-ups to SmackDown, and like I said, go back to my rant about that because I'm not going to revisit it here. We were building towards a match between Sarray and Toni Storm, but you know, obviously that's not happening now because she's gone off to SmackDown. But Gigi Dolan had approached Sarray and said, you know, like I'll take her spot. Basically, it'd be an honor to face you. Right. I'm intrigued by Gigi Dolan. I was intrigued by Gigi Dolan and Cora Jade when they debuted in the Women's Dusty Cup. Now, they were eliminated in the first round, and they were eliminated in the first round in a match that actually happened on 205 Live, which was really strange. But I was intrigued by them, and they seem to be up that like Daphne Page sort of genre of wrestlers, and that's really cool. I don't know if she's a face or heel, so I don't know to take her comments as genuine or not, but they started off with a respectful handshake, which is nice. But Gigi Dolan and Sarray are both still relatively new to the brand, and if we're going to take away so many talents to bolster up SmackDown, which basically doesn't exist because of the Bianca Belair steamroller, then we're going to have to sort of start pushing this next layer of women. And so these are two that I was really curious about, and I'm repeating myself now, but I was really looking forward to this match almost as much as I was looking forward to Dakota Kai and Ember Moon, because I know what they can do. I was looking forward to this because I'm not necessarily sure what they can do. I mean, obviously Sarray can kick your head off, and that's fine. Wasn't expecting what we got about halfway through this match, but collar and elbow tie-up. Sarray works the arm. Dolan reverses as a grounded headlock takedown by Sarray and a quick leg and headlock by Dolan. She basically gets her in a chokehold with her legs, and then all focus goes to the rampway because somebody's watching them from the rampway, and it's Mandy Rose. And I'm not popping huge. Like, Mandy Rose isn't somebody that's going to, oh my god, she's going to turn everything around. She's going to bring all the ratings up for NXT, and we're going to be the highest rated show all of a sudden in the wrestling week. She's not even going to be necessarily somebody you can necessarily put in the title picture right away. Mandy Rose is among a lot of women that got hotshotted to the main roster to fill in the gaps in the main roster, along with Sonya Deville, but Sonya Deville is flourishing in her current role, and I have other thoughts about that as well. But Mandy Rose is on the ramp, and later on it was definitely confirmed on Twitter by her and retweeted by NXT, etc., etc., etc. Just simply said, I'm back. So Mandy Rose is back on NXT. But there's a match still going on in the ring. A snapmare and a kick to the back by Dolan, the Sarray's headlock / leg lock double submission, arching submission that she does. Multiple pin attempts by Dolan and an STO, but a drop kick by Sarray sets up for her signature low drop kick in the ropes. And her version of the Saito suplex gets the win by Sarray. And then, as I say, Mandy Rose got onto Twitter announcing that she's officially back in NXT. Interesting to have somebody in this match and have somebody win their match tonight with a Saito suplex, considering who the champion is and what the main event is tonight. But yeah, it was one of those, I was going into this match waiting for Gigi Dolan and Sarray to show me what they could do. I come out of this match being like, what the hell's Mandy Rose going to do in NXT? And I'm very, very intrigued. In the back, and I've mushed a whole bunch of things together here because it's a whole lot of people I like being dragged down by one thing I don't like. So we're going to go through it really, really quickly. Legado del Fantasma are in the back talking shit about Swerve and Hit Row. So that's definitely a thing that's happening. And then Escobar hypes up his match tonight with Dexter Lumis. Who asked for Escobar to be wasted in a match with Dexter Lumis? Not me. I'm going to put my hand down. I'm not going to talk about this match. There we go. The light just went away. Can we... there we go. Thank you very much. I'm not going to talk about the match. I didn't write any notes for the match other than it was as awkward as all the other Lumis matches are. And at one point, Lumis tried to do spooky shit and drag Escobar under the ring. And it was supposed to be comical or horror adjacent or anything like that. It wasn't. It was shit. Everything with Dexter Lumis is shit. Escobar at least hit him with the Phantom Driver to get the win. They're heading up the ramp, him and his buddies from Legado del Fantasma. The other two guys, you know, looking dapper as hell in their suits, which is kind of nice. They walk backwards up the ramp, though, and as we all know, if somebody's walking backwards up the ramp, they're going to be attacked or they're at least going to be accosted by somebody as they walk backwards, as they pose sort of triumphantly isn't Hit Row behind them. And they have the stare down. And they don't break down to blows. It's just, it's Hit Row going like, oh, really? And it was that expression that you see, or, you know, you see in memes and you see in various jokes and whatever. But, like, if you could make a facial expression out of the phrase, I heard you were talking some shit, that's what Hit Row was doing. Now, here's the thing, though, and I say this again with factions that have both male and female members. If these guys come to blows, what is BFAB going to do other than just sit there and hype people up? I said during the Great American Bash while I was talking to Jake, if she can wrestle, get her wrestling, because she already knows how to fill her own space and grab the attention of the camera and all that sort of thing. They showed that with the Cypher. I will still say, I went over this last week, I'm going to say it again here. The Hit Row Cypher thing is not for me. The Hit Row, the whole rap gimmick thing is not for me, but it's got an energy. And it's got an energy that's got to be resonating with somebody, because the crowd, when Hit Row came out, even when Legato was just talking shit about them before they were even actually out there, the crowd chanting Hit Row was noticeable and audible, and isn't it nice to have a crowd where you can actually gauge these things? So these guys are into what they're doing, which is the number one thing. They've got an energy, especially BFAB. I wish I knew what her real name was, because BFAB sounds silly. She can take up the camera. The other two are competent in the ring. Swerve is, you know, we know what Swerve can do. They're into their gimmick. Some of the crowd is into their gimmick, and they've got an energy that is different. And I said the same thing about MSK. Now, MSK are just high energy guys in general, but they brought a different flavor to the tag team division, and I think these guys are going to do the same thing. Now, when we came back from the commercial break, Indy Hartwell tried to do what Dexter Lumis did and carry him out of the ring, and then they fell, and then they almost made out, and Candice had to come and stop her like an angry mom, which is fine. Kyle O'Reilly, I drone through all of that because it's all overshadowed by the presence of Dexter Lumis. I want to see Hit Row versus Legato. I want to see a trios match. Yes, AEW fans, sit there and rip your cocks off. It's fine. I want to see that trios match. I want to see Bobby Fish and Tyler Rust and the other Japanese guy take on trios as well. It'll be fine. Bring the New Day to NXT for one night only and have them go up against Legato, and there's any kinds of possibilities there. But as soon as you throw Dexter Lumis in the mix and you remind me that Dexter Lumis is ruining the way, it's gonna be a bad time. Kyle O'Reilly is in the back cutting a really shit promo. I'm not gonna lie. It's an interview. He's doing a sit-down interview with Bad News Barrett, so it's supposed to have some weight to it, and it's every John Cena, Roman Reigns when he was a babyface. Oh, you know, getting knocked down is part of getting back up, and I'm going to get him next time. And it was really bad. Don't watch it. It's not worth it. That's all I'm saying. Still respect the hell out of Kyle O'Reilly. Don't get me wrong. The match at Great American Bash where Adam Cole got his win back was an amazing match, and I do want to see a round 3. Don't get me wrong. But it's shit. The promo was shit. Let him come out in the ring and cut a promo. I don't know why they stuck him backstage when he's somebody that the crowd is actually getting behind. Not as much as Adam Cole, but it is what it is. More stupid Butler shit, and that's all I'm going to say. Breakout tournament starts. The NXT 2021. I'm sorry, my nose is itchy. Breakout tournament. Round 1, match 1. Ika Manjaro taking on Duke Hudson. Ika Manjaro is really, really fun, really, really flamboyant, wrestles with his coat on, so maybe he's going to have a tag team eventually with Seth Rollins, who knows. Duke Hudson is tall and boring and won the match. What are you going to do? Ika Manjaro was apparently trained by Tajiri, so halfway through the match he did a tarantula, which is really good. Hudson won with a black hole slam, because that's what you do when you're a big, tall guy. Dunn and Lorcan are in the back, and they're getting asked about the match between KROSS and Gargano later on tonight, and he's doing his typical Pete Dunne thing. He's like, I don't care who wins. I want who's next. Gargano knows what I can do, and why don't you go ask KROSS if he thinks he's the baddest guy in the company. And Thatcher goes up to him and says, so what is it? Are you the best technical wrestler in NXT, or are you the biggest badass in NXT? and he just sort of stares down Pete Dunne. Now me, in my head, because it's how my brain works, I'm like, these guys were tag team champions not too long ago. They were doing stuff when Thatcher had to fill in for Riddle. And out of nowhere, Ciampa comes and joins the fray, and the four of these guys brawl. Now, if you want to give me one time only Dunne, Lorcan, Thatcher, Ciampa in some kind of like street fight type thing where they can brawl, I wouldn't mind that. I don't need an extended program between Thatcher and Dunne, though. I want Dunne in the title picture. It doesn't look like it's happening right now, but that's fine. Just more awesome NXT Women's Division stuff next. Catanzaro and Carter versus Aaliyah and Jessie Camilla, a.k.a. the Robert Stone brand. Now, I don't know how, in the entirety of the existence of the women's tag team titles on NXT, Catanzaro and Carter haven't made their way back to the title picture, because they are phenomenal. Aaliyah and Jessie Camilla are what they are, and they are sort of like, I've said it before, and there's no way that I can say this and have it not sound shitty, but I don't mean it to be shitty. They're the bottom of the card. They are somebody, they are established, they are part of the show, they are somebody who can put another team over who's going to be going up the ladder. The ladder has to have a bottom. And I like Aaliyah, hometown girl. I like Jessie Camilla. I like the Robert Stone gimmick, and I like it for what it is, and I like him getting the shit kicked out of him by Mercedes Martinez when that happened, and I liked him getting the shit kicked out of him when Rhea Ripley did it. Remember when Rhea Ripley was good and not ruined by Raw? Anyways, but again, like the Gigi Dolan versus Saray match, I went in thinking, okay, this is going to be a cool tag team match. Came out thinking about entirely different stuff, but let's talk about huge boot by Camilla to start off the match, a double team by Aaliyah and Camilla, a bridging German suplex by Aaliyah, bicycle kick to the back by Camilla, a mud hole by Aaliyah. This is all on Catanzaro, by the way. Smallest person in NXT getting the shit kicked out of her, and she's good at getting the shit kicked out of her, if that makes sense. Body shots by Camilla. Carter gets the hot tag in finally. Bulldog by Carter. Chops. I cannot read my own writing. Hair takedown by Aaliyah. Splash off the steps by Catanzaro. A super kick by Carter. A neckbreaker 450 splash double team combination gets the win for Catanzaro and Carter. Camilla's left on the outside. Aaliyah is on the inside of the ring. She's very upset that they've lost, which is fine. Robert Stone's trying to give her a pep talk, and he keeps on trying to grab her arm. You know, hey, what's wrong with you? Like, let's shake this off. Let's get it over with. And she slaps the shit out of him, and she says, "Don't bother. Don't do that. Don't touch me. I've done more for you than you've done for me." And then she beats him up. Like, it's not a simple comedy thing where, like, the woman slaps the guy, or it's not a simple comedy thing where the woman kicks the guy in the nuts. She actually beats him up and realizes that people are cheering for her and kind of gets into it and kind of does this little spin when she leaves because she's, like, liberated herself. So she's basically quit the Robert Stone brand, and he's left in the ring with one shoe. With one shoe and no socks. He's the modern-day Steven Richards, it's fine. She waves at Jessie Camilla, who's still on the ground on the outside. And then, Frankie Monet comes down and talks to Jessie Camilla for a minute and lures her away. So, it looks like Robert Stone has lost his brand, but we'll get back to that a little bit later. But it's just a bad day. It's not a bad day for the Robert Stone brand, but it's a bad day if you're Robert Stone, if that makes sense. Joe tries to give his pre-match referee comments to The Way. The Way want him to come and hang out with them and buy one of their t-shirts, so he walks away because they're goofballs. And he has another stare down with Pete Dunne. They're teasing me. They are teasing me. Former TNA World Champion Samoa Joe, former NXT Champion Samoa Joe, staring down former NXT UK and Destiny, check it off your Spaz Phoenix bucket list, champion Pete Dunne. You guys, you got it. I know there's a whole lot more matches that people want to see Joe in before this one. Give me Samoa Joe versus Pete. I don't care if it's on a regular, bog standard episode of NXT. Give me Samoa Joe versus Pete Dunne. Ban Lorcan from ringside. I want to see these guys kick the shit out of each other. It'll be good. More stupid Butler stuff. Adam Cole comes out, obviously, to brag about his win over Kyle O'Reilly last week, and this didn't go the way I thought it was going to, and this made me smile a whole bunch as well. he came out and told all the audience listening, all the audience that are cheering for him, he's cutting a promo. The thing I love about Adam Cole is he can soak up all the cheers of the crowd and still cut a promo as if they're booing him, which is awesome. I told all of you, I proved that I'm better than Kyle at Stand and Deliver. That was a fluke, and it doesn't count. That's how non-sanctioned matches work. He calls out the lame interview that Kyle O'Reilly did earlier, which is great. He says he's sick of Kyle, and he's also sick of Samoa Joe. He talked about big bad Samoa Joe, who snuck up and put the what is it? Karafuda clutch. Is it? No, that's Shayna Baszler. The Koji clutch on him. Then the following week he watched Kyle O'Reilly tear his leg apart and didn't really do anything about it. He's a coward. He's overpaid security. You won't face me, just like nobody in the back will face me. And out comes one of the guys that I swore I was worried about because I swore he was being sacrificed to the main roster. Apparently not yet. Bronson Reed comes out to call out Adam Cole. He says, I love the confidence. You're the master of the mind games, but hey, I got no more North American title. I got nothing to lose. Everybody's eyes are on me right now. Everybody wants to know what my next move is because obviously he's been teased to the main roster. He says, you are the man here in NXT, but you're also my golden opportunity, baby. Adam Cole gets sick of it, tries to give him a super kick. He simply he doesn't move. He just puts his hands out and blocks it, which is a badass maneuver. Adam Cole goes to do a running something, and he just hits him with the avalanche, which is great. Knocks him right out of the ring, right into the rampway, right into the path of Samoa Joe, who's coming down to referee the main event, which is great. So I'm assuming at some point we are getting Adam Cole versus Bronson Reed, which makes me smile because Adam Cole is the man in NXT. I mean, God knows where Finn Balor is. Gargano is dead. Ciampa's doing tag team stuff. And those are your four pillars of NXT. So right now, I'm sorry, I know he doesn't have the belt right now, but Adam Cole is still the man because look at how many people are turning on Karrion Kross. And plus, Adam Cole is also calling out Samoa Joe, which isn't happening because Samoa Joe's referee. We're going to talk about the main event in a second. In the back, we see, I guess, Frankie Monet and Jessi Kamea with Robert Stone sort of limping behind. They come face to face with the newly returned Mandy Rose, who looks over the group, and she just says, well, it looks like the Robert Stone brand is under new management. I think Mandy Rose being back in NXT is going to be a cool thing for some people, and it's going to boil some piss for some other people. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I really, really am. We get the announcements for next week. We got Fish and Kushida versus Strong and Rust for next week. We got Xia Li versus Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship, which is going to be interesting. If nothing else, I don't think there's going to be a title change, but at the same time, the pupil of the 1,000-year-old Dragon Lady holding the championship, will she do like a Jeff Hardy, and will they make their own belt, and will it have like a big dragon on it? They could do some. They've got some leeway with me with the creativeness of the Tian Sha thing, because it's not, as long as you've got Dexter Lumis on the show, and as long as you've got Cameron Grimes on the show, and as long as nothing else is as lame as those two, because those are the bar. Then you're fine, and it's cool. I want to find out that the 1,000-year-old dragon that they're all afraid of is Alexa Bliss, and then that if anybody else's piss wasn't already boiled about Mandy Rose, they can be piss boiling about that. Kross versus Gargano with Samoa Joe as your special referee for the NXT Championship. Now, I was about to say, because I wrote it in my notes, and then I don't get to say it, because Karrion Kross debuted to nobody. He debuted in Full Sail when it was empty. And I saw his entrance for the first time, and I just thought, wow, that's going to be great when there's fans. Wow, that's going to be great when we're not in Full Sail anymore. Now, we're not in Full Sail. We're in the CWC, which a lot of people are downing on now, but I like it. I think it's a step up from Full Sail. I think it's a step up from just being the regular PC the way it was. And we do have fans, and the entrance is great, except for the fact that all the fans were chanting Johnny Wrestling before the entrance was even over. So that was, I don't know, man. Kross isn't exactly a babyface, but Gargano is supposed to be the weaselly, annoying chicken shit heel, and because it's NXT and our fans are actually smart, they recognize that he's still a fantastic wrestler, and away we go. Know the Way out with Johnny Gargano, which I thought was cool. Kross had Scarlett out with him, obviously, but she doesn't actually do very much because Kross just kills people. Cheap shot by Gargano to start the match, mounted corner punches, mudhole by Kross, body shots in a corner forearm, snap vertical suplex by Kross, a dropkick by Gargano, cannonball off the apron by Gargano, and a big boot by Kross. Kross eats the steps on the outside, but he recovers and hits a tree slam, like the two-handed tree slam, on Gargano on the edge of the commentator apron in a way that made me cringe, and it was only happening on my television. That sent us into commercial break. Kross eats the post shoulder first as we come back from the commercial break. Forearms and an enziguri by Gargano. A slingshot spear by Gargano. A suicide dive by Gargano when Kross had his back turned. So I don't know if it's the way it was shot. I could be wrong about this, but it looks like he hit the suicide dive to the base of the back of Kross's neck, because it sent him face first into the plexi. Just suicide dives are a dime a dozen nowadays, unfortunately. But you know, anything you can do to make it new, make it different, make it look ingenuitive. That's not a word, is it? Cradle suplex by Kross, enziguri by Gargano, a lariat by Kross, a DDT by Gargano, and some forearms. Straight up standard chokeslam by Kross. Two super kicks by Gargano, followed by an attempt at the Gargano escape. The Gargano escape actually happened out of a counter to the cross jacket, but he actually gets the cross jacket on properly, but Gargano makes it to the ropes, and here is where Joe steps in as the referee and pulls Kross off of Gargano because Gargano's got the rope break and tosses him across the ring. They have a big stare down. Number one, Kross keeps his cool, because remember the old story with him and Balor saying, I'm basically going to beat you because your emotions get the better of you. Hashtag LTST right there. Instead of taking it out on Joe, which would have caused a disqualification, he goes to the outside of the ring, grabs Johnny Gargano's face, and basketballs Johnny Gargano's face off the plexi. And how? Joe takes the steps away from Kross before he can hit him with the steps, and they have a second stare down. Gargano, in the meantime, off the distraction, hits a ridiculous suicide tornado DDT on the floor, followed quickly by a one final beat, which doesn't get the win. You know what does get the win? A hidden blade, 3 power bombs, a Saito suplex, and another hidden blade. Gargano's dead. Kross is obviously still the champion. After the match, they're jaw-jacking Kross and Joe. And right as Kross is about to leave, right as he's turning, he notices the smirk on Joe's face. And he chokes out Samoa Joe. So, if him being the referee for this match wasn't enough to show you that, hey, this guy can move around, he has been cleared on some level, he was taken out by the champion, which means at some point he's going to be going face-to-face with the champion. Joe is back on the roster. The title he has right now is extra. Now, I said at the beginning, all the different times I've started off these videos with, oh my god, we got a lot to talk about, oh my god, we got a lot to talk about. But if you don't believe me, Kushida and Friends taking on the Diamond Mine is a long-standing story that's just getting started. Hit Row and Legado del Fantasma and all the different iterations that's going to happen, including the North American Championship, that's just starting. Samoa Joe's long list of potential opponents, from Kross to Dunn to Cole to Gargano, is just starting. Gonzalez is defending her championship next week against Xia Li. Now, I don't know if that's a long-standing story or just the next sort of proving ground for Gonzalez as a champion. It could always feed into the breakup of her and Dakota Kai, because we know that's coming soon, which itself is an extended story. The Robert Stone brand explodes, ? And Mandy Rose is back in NXT. I'm sure to the heartbreak of Corey Graves. Corey Graves will just have to settle for his hot-ass girlfriend, Carmella, who is not going to win the championship on Friday because the champion is Bianca Belair. And yeah, that's another story for another time. But this is how much we got in this episode. The Diamond Mine story, Hero versus Legado, everything going on with Joe, everything going on with the Women's Championship, the Robert Stone brand, Mandy Rose coming back to the NXT brand. Now, that's to say nothing about the big 4-person brawl that started in the back. That's to say nothing about the current men's tag team or women's tag team championship pictures. That's really to say nothing yet of the Cruiserweight Championship, because right now that's just in a tag match. That's not even mentioning that we've started the Breakout Tournament, which is going to go for probably the next 10 weeks or so. I dare you to tell me you might not like all of it, and there's stuff in there that I don't like Dexter Lumis, like the whole stupid Butler shit. You'll notice that I'm skipping that intentionally because it is so insulting to the Butler shit is a Raw segment. Give us back Karrion Kross, give us back Bronson Reed, give us back Tony Storm, give us back Shotzi Blackheart, give us back Tegan Knox, give us back, whoever else you're planning on taking. Take LA Knight. Take Dexter Lumis. Take Cameron Grimes. Please. Take the people that aren't working on NXT, not the people that are making NXT great. Again. Let's get that on a hat, shall we? But yeah, regardless of what you like, there is something for everybody on this show, and I dare you to tell me that there isn't a lot happening on this show. And they managed to do it in 2 hours instead of 3. Raw, what's your problem? I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, tagging out. Bye, guys.